Other interesting business news, you have Rolls-Royce Aerospace layoff 2,500 jobs in a cost-cutting attempt. Fascinating. Now, it is a little interesting to note that, back in the day, like many companies that used to be much more diversified, Rolls-Royce that you see in terms of the cars on the streets, it's a completely separate entity. So it's a little disappointing they no longer share the same engine platforms or anything like that. But in terms of the car company Rolls-Royce that you and I anecdotally see more on the streets, depending on what streets you're on, I mean, that was spun off years ago to BMW. So interestingly enough, if you see a Rolls-Royce, it's a BMW, or it's owned by BMW. I won't get into the nuances on where it's assembled and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the Rolls-Royce, the OG, as the youth might say, well, this one is actually specifically for Rolls-Royce Holdings. So layoffs are specifically for the engine manufacturing company, they got their start back in the day by making these massive, huge, fascinating engines for a myriad of vehicles, and now these days they're best known for making some of the best aerospace or specifically jet propulsion vehicles for airliners and a myriad of other applications. Now, it'll be interesting to see they're trying to get rid of 2,500 staff as part of their cost-cutting drive initiative by its new CEO. Now, I'm not too surprised in terms of when you have a new CEO come on, you want to try to make a lot of changes. Ideally, you want to try to make the company more profitable for the shareholders, make sure you take care of your customers, employees. And they noted that the job cuts will likely be distributed across the engine manufacturer's global operations, likely to be affected 100 jobs at the UK office. And they also noted that they had experienced a strong recovery under, and I'm going to butcher this gentleman's name. I apologize to the new CEO, Tufan, Tufan or Tufan, and he took over as CEO last January, and has since said the firm's cost base has been, quote, tightly managed to offset inflationary cost pressures, unquote. So it'll be interesting to see what used to be, for many years, people consider a blue chip stock, since they are manufacturing for all these giant companies. It's one of those things where you see an airplane, it's probably one of the most diverse products in terms of the number of components that go in there from separate manufacturers to come together and make it work. It'll be interesting to see, anecdotally speaking, I feel like people are flying a lot less these days. It'll be interesting to see the decrease in orders from the airplane manufacturers and how many of them is that going to trickle down, and how tight they might have to tighten their belt at Rolls-Royce. It'll be interesting to see, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you everyone again for taking the time to tune in. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of October, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, all the comments are greatly appreciated as well. We try to make the show better and better together. Don't forget to take the time to like the video, because it might help with the algorithm. It seems to change on a daily basis of how the magical wizards at YouTube recommend videos or not. But what helps the channel even more out is if you just take the time, and I do appreciate it, take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.